Hello everyone. In the previous video, we have seen the introduction to DBMS and we have understood what is a DBMS, that is a software used to manage the databases, and it provides an interface to the user for various kinds of operations and what are the different tasks that we can perform using the DBMS. Now in this video, we will see the characteristics of DBMS and we will also see at last a brief history of DBMS. If I talk about the characteristics of DBMS, then there are so many features that DBMS provides. And let's see what are some of the features that DBMS provides. First one, it provides query language. This is the biggest feature of the DBMS. It provides a query language that is helpful for managing the database, for performing different kinds of operation like insert, update, delete data in the database. Now if I talk about the second characteristics, so backup and recovery, these are the two main things that allow users to protect the data, and that is provided by the DBMS. So it provides the backup and recovery. It provides backup and recovery of the data. Data of any user is very important. So first priority we have to give is to protect the data. We have to, like DBMS is something that provides the backup and recovery of the data, that is helpful in protecting the data. So it provides the security also. So we can say in simpler words, it provides security. The third characteristic of DBMS is it supports the multiple views of data. It supports multiple views of data. Means it provides multiple views for different users in a single organization. For example, there is a university. And it maintains a database. Now database contains data related to students, teachers. For example, if there is an exam going on in the university, then until the results are declared to the students, the data of the scores of the students is only accessible to the teachers. So you can say if we partition the database in two parts, this data will be seen by teachers or faculty and this data will be seen by students. So students will be like the interface, whatever the UI will be, they will show the students your scores will be coming soon. It will be get uploaded on the website, and teachers show the data shown to the teachers will show the scores of all the students. So that is something that means support multiple views of data. Now in DBMS, it supports the concept of normalization. Normalization we will see in the further videos, but for now just understand it supports the concept of normalization, that is very helpful in minimizing the redundancy of a relation or a table. So it removes redundancy of data and follows the concepts of normalization. There are different kind of normalization. All the kinds of normalization we will see in the further videos. So these are some of the characteristics of the DBMS. Now the last and the most important characteristic of DBMS is the database management system supports ACID properties. If you have ever heard about ACID properties, now it's not that ACID, its full form is different. ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability property. ACID properties. So A stands for atomicity, C consistency. Atomicity, consistency, isolation and durability. Let's try to understand these 4 points briefly. So atomicity means the data remains atomic, okay? So if any operation is performed or executed, it should execute completely or it should not be executed at all. Means there should not be any partial execution. If any process starts, then it should complete execution or does not execute it at all. So that is something atomicity means. Now if I talk about the consistency, then the word consistency means the value should remain preserved always. Means if any changes or updation happens in the database, then the value remains preserved always. That is something consistency related to. Now the third one is the isolation. Isolation is the property of database where no data should affect the other one and may occur concurrently. It means if two operations are being performed on two different databases, then they may not affect the value of one another. That is something related to isolation. Now the last one is the durability. Durability ensures the permanent execution or permanent changes. So it ensures that the data, that is like after the successful execution of the process of the operation, becomes permanent in the database. Whatever changes made in the database, that will become permanent in the database. So these are the 4 points and this supports by the DBMS. So it supports the ACID properties. Now let's discuss about a brief history of DBMS. So the history starts from 1960s when Charles Beckman, that was the first person to develop an integrated data store, that is IDS. So he designed the first DBMS system. And that DBMS system is based on the network data model. After then, in 1970s, Edgar Codd introduced IBM's information management system in 1970s. So in 1970, IBM developed IMS, that is information management system, and it is based on the hierarchical database model, and it was developed by Edgar Codd. In 1980s, the relational model becomes a widely accepted database component. That time the relational model was still in use by many people in the market. After then, IBM developed the structured query language as a part of the R project, and it was declared by the IBM that this is a standard language for writing the queries to manage the data operations. Further, there were different kinds of database introduced, for example, object-oriented database management system and other database management systems. So, with the start of the internet age, the data models influenced much more, and the data models were developed using the object-oriented programming features embedded with the scripting languages for the queries. With immense amount of data being available online, DBMS is gaining more significance day by day, and now we use DBMS for almost every applications. So that is a brief history of the DBMS, where it comes from. It comes from the Charles Beckman, who designed the first DBMS in 1970, that was developed, like it was further developed by IMS, like IBM, who has developed IMS, and the person who developed IMS is Edward Cord in 1970. And after 1980, the relational model accepted by the many users in the market. So that is all for this video. I hope you understand the DBMS, its characteristics, acid properties, and the history of DBMS. Now in the next video, we will see what are the advantages and disadvantages of DBMS.